Hi guys, and welcome to your chapter tutorial on electrical power and household circuits. Guys, this is the second chapter on the current section. Again, an easy chapter, but a lot of information. I just nicknamed this chapter to household because that's the primary objective here. Guys, first page in conscience physics just talks about electrical energy and how it converts from one form to another. So it's really not something that you're asked right now in the current electricity chapter. However, when you do the work power energy chapter, you will have certain conversions. In fact, loads of them to learn up because they are the ones that are asked in the paper. I'm just going to be moving on to the second page. That is measurement of electrical energy. Now there is an experiment given. I'm not going to be doing the experiment. However, I will just be doing the derivation of various formulae of work and power before I move on to commercial unit of electrical energy. So guys, as we know, as I already told you, V in the last tutorial, that V is equal to W upon Q, and this way we have that W equals QV or Q times V. Um, but we also know that Q equals IT, from I is equal to Q by T, if you remember. And this way, if we combine these two, then we get W, which is work, equals V I T. Guys, this is the basic formula. I'm just going to be going through this with you again. V is equal to voltage. So voltage is just nothing but work upon charge. So it's the amount of work done in moving in a positive charge, in a positive charge. So this implies that W is Q by V. I took the Q, I cross multiplied with V, and therefore I had W equal to Q by QV. And I also know that I is equal to Q by T, which is a basic formula in current. So Q equals IT, and from these two equations I have W equals VIT. So this is your first formula that you have to remember, and from here arise several 2-3 different formulae. So again, now let's do the first one. So guys, as I told you last tutorial, again with Ohm's law I have V equal to IR, and this way I have the voltage equals current times resistance. And from this relation, guys, I have W equal to VIT. So in this VIT combination, I replace the V with IR, because as I know V is equal to IR, and therefore I get IR times IT, which is nothing but I into I times R into T, which is I square RT. So that's my another formula, that W equals I square RT. My second formula, guys, is when I input I equal to V by R in this one. So if I have I square, then this would be V by R whole square. So I would get V square T by R from this one. So I have W equals V square T by R. Because I had an I by R whole square, so I had an I square by R square, and I'm sorry, because I had an I square, therefore I had a V square by R square, and that R square in the denominator gets cut by this R over here, and therefore I have an R in the denominator. So these three are the primary formulae that you need to remember. These two and this one right here, this is the father of these two formulae. And similarly, when you look at power, you have absolutely similar formulae, except that you should know that power is equal to work upon time. So whichever formula that you had for work, you just divide them by another t. So please refer to your book for this, but I'm just gonna rewriting the formula here. So I have P equal to VI, because remember I had W equal to VIT, therefore I just divide the VIT by T and I'm left with P equal to VI. I have P equal to I square R, because I had V equal to I square RT, and I have finally P equal to V square by R, because I had a V square by RT equal to W, and therefore I divided it by T. So guys, that's pretty much it about the units of power. I'm sorry, the formulae of power and work. Now let's get to what is electrical power. As the book says, electrical power consumed is said to be 1 watt. Now watt is the unit of power, guys. I'm sorry I didn't tell you this, but P equal to VI. So V is nothing. Its unit is volt. So 1 volt times 1 ampere. You need to learn this up. Sometimes the question here is also asked that 1 volt into 1 ampere. So what is 1 watt? 1 watt is equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere. So this is again another unit. So R has a unit of watt. So electrical power consumed is said to be 1 watt if a potential difference of 1 volt here causes a current of 1 ampere to flow through a circuit. What I would advise is that there are so many definitions of 1 ohm, 1 ampere, 1 joule, and all of these. So you just have to make a separate 2-3 page copy, not even a copy, just take 2-3 pages, write down all these definitions, because they come really handy at the end of February or at the end of January when you're slogging or when you're studying really hard for your board examinations. So I would recommend that you make all these definitions. It'll be really helpful to you. And now let's move on to commercial units of energy, guys. Again, very easy. Um, what I'm talking about here is a kilowatt hour. I don't know if you know this already. I'm hoping you do because you've done this in class. Yeah, so guys, now talking about commercial unit of electrical energy, as I just now told you, it's nothing but kWh, which is kilowatt hour, and that's the SI unit. So I'm gonna go backwards. So guys, where do you think can this be derived from? As you can see, it's nothing but power into time, and power taken in kilowatt, which is 10 power 3 watt, not 10 power 3 watt, but 10 power 3 WATT. Yeah. So it's 10 power 3 watt, and time is taken in hours. So guys, we have that electrical energy. Whenever we talk about it, we're just talking about power in time. So in practice, the electrical energy is measured in bigger units, like kilowatt hour or even a watt hour. And watt hour and kilowatt hour are just the commercial units of electrical energy. Now let's come on to the definition of 1 watt hour. Now, as the book tells you, 1 watt hour is the electrical energy consumed by an electrical appliance of power 1 watt when it is used for 1 hour. So if I have a 1 watt an appliance which has 1 watt written on it, which is the rating of the appliance, and I use it for 1 hour, then the electrical units. So then the bill that comes to my house is it's calculated in watt hour, and it's actually 1 watt hour. So that's what electrical energy really means. And if you see, then your book has conversions. So it says that 1 watt hour or hour, 1 watt hour is equal to 3600 joules, and 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 3.6 into 10 power 6 joules. I remember we were asked this question in our April duties, but I know you guys are through with your April duties. I don't know if you got such a question, but if not, then please do look into this, because this is again another hot favorite question of teachers and might just turn up in your paper. So the derivation is really easy. I'm not going to be doing it with you, although you might be asked to derive it on spot, or you might show off or showboat by just doing it in the paper. So it's really easy. Now let's come on to power rating of some common electrical appliances. Very easy subtopic. The only thing that this subtopic is in concise. That's what I'm reading here from. So the only discussion that needs to take place over here is that safe current, which is I. Now, guys, as you know, P is equal to VI, right? So I is equal to P by V, and so safe current is nothing but power by voltage rating of the appliance. And another thing that he's talking about is resistance, which is V square by P. And where did this come up from? We know P is equal to V square by R, and therefore cross multiplying, P is equal to V square by R is equal to V square by P. Alright guys, that's pretty much it on this thing. Let's go on to heating effect of current. Again, very easy, but very compulsory in the sense that to do, because often you have a question on this heating effect. It's also known as Joule's law of heating. Very important and famous. LAW guys, okay. Heating, not hitting, it's heating. Yeah. So now the first one is H is directly proportional to I square. I'm pretty sure you've come through this notation a lot of times. So what it means is that heating or heating effect of electric current is directly proportional to the square of the current passing through the conductor or the wire. Second is H is directly proportional to R. Now, what this means is amount of heat H produced in the wire is directly proportional to the resistance R. So this is our second relation, and the third and the final relation is to do with time, and we have amount of heat, which is H, is directly proportional to the time for which the current is passed. So we have H directly proportional to P, H directly proportional to R, and H is directly proportional to I square. So now guys, we have H is directly proportional to, if we combine all of these, I square RT. Now that's our relation. That's what you call Joule's law of heating. So guys, please remember, because often there is a numerical in this and people do tend to get confused because they've only crammed a formula relating to P and V and W and all of those letters. But guys, please, okay, just these are some certain basics that you need to know, and just remember that this can also be used as a formula, and the formula is given in your book too. When you remove the proportionality sign, this comes into the picture. H is equal to 0.24 into I square RT. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. I hope you understand what I am saying. I don't have time to do numericals right now, but they're very easy. The only numerical, if you haven't done calorimetry right now, you can leave the 12th numerical in my book, which is a heating coil is immersed dash dash dash. So please, and oh yeah, and there is a footnote saying solve this example after reading chapter 11. Oh yeah, but you have calorimetry, so yeah, please go through all the examples in your first section of electrical power and household circuits. Now let's go on to the second portion of this chapter, which deals with the household wiring system. So it's just dealing with transmission of power from generating system. Sorry, station. What's wrong with me? I'm really sorry, really sleepy, but please bear with me. So guys, this is a very easy topic again, and we will be covering right now power distribution to a house, and how what all places of the current go through, and then finally when you charge your mobile phone or use the aqua guard, where is the real current coming to that box from. So another thing, house wiring, guys, this hasn't appeared in the board paper for the past 10 years. We always used to be scared because this is again a tough topic, and I'm really sorry, I'm not going to be doing this with you. I'll go crazy, because I used to go crazy when I used to do this for my exams too. So in house wiring, guys, the only thing you need to know is the disadvantages of the tree system and the advantages of the ring system. So ring system is the successor of the tree system. So obviously ring system must be having certain advantages. So that's all you need to know here. And before that, now let's just do the transmission from the generating system. So the first paragraph on page 219 in my book, it's important in the sense it says that the generating system, the electric power is generated at 11,000 volt, which is 11 kilovolt, because voltage higher than this can cause insulation difficulties, while voltages lower than this can involve high current. You just have to learn this up, because this is very easy according to the relation P equal to VI. You can see this is really easy, and convert it into a sentence form. one more important thing you need to know is that the voltage generated is alternating a frequency 50 hertz. That is, the polarity at the terminals changes 100 times a second. So it's 50 times plus and 50 times minus. That's what it says. So guys, you need to know that alternating current is the current that you have at your homes when you switch on the light, the fan, or whatever. And it's basically frequency 50 hertz. So 50 hertz meaning that it's positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So 50 times it goes positive, 50 times it goes negative. So that's how you get current. Now this is very important because this 50 will fetch you 2 marks in the paper in the 2-mark section. In section A, you do have this question wherein the teachers ask you, or the paper actually, it requires you to fill in this two-digit number. So guys, I'm just going to be telling you how the transmission takes place. So this is your basic power station, which is PS. It's not police station, guys. It's power station. And so guys, I'm not going to be drawing the diagram that's there in the book because it's really long, and I have to finish this in another 5 minutes. So guys, it's really easy. You've done it in class also. The only thing you need to remember is that in the grid substation, the 11 kilovolt is stepped up to 132 volt. So guys, this is your grid substation, which is GS, and it gets 11 kilovolt and it steps up to 132 kilovolt. Now this is the only station which steps up, which is a step up transformer, and steps up the voltage from 11 to 132 kilovolt. Rest all guys are step down transformers, they have step down transformers in them, and therefore they step down the voltage from 132 to 33, 33 to 11, and 11 to 20, which you get. Notice guys, all of these are multiples of 11. In India you only have multiples of 11. Next thing you need to know is power distribution to a house. Again, a little complicated diagram. I'm sure you've done this in your notebook. Only thing you need to remember is earth, neutral, and live wire here. And the diagram, you need to practice it once at home. Remember guys that there are two types of switches. Cut the last part. Okay, remember guys that from the kWh meter, which you will encounter somewhere in the middle after the company fuse, you have one main fuse, one main fuse, and one main switch. Now guys, I can't help you so much with this chapter. I'm really sorry, but I'm just gonna be telling you the important parts that you need to revise, since I do feel that if you're looking at this tutorial just before your examinations, you have done this chapter. So guys, just remember these two things and what components do they have in them. For instance, main switch is a double pole switch. I will be doing that a little later in the chapter right now. And the main fuse is connected to the live wire, okay, and main switch is connected in the live and the neutral wires. So this is the line and the neutral wires, and this is only the live wire. The main switch is a double pole switch. So now comes house wiring. I already told you, just do the advantages of ring system. And now next is the lights and other outlet points parallel to each other. Okay, so the only thing you need to remember here is that the difference between parallel and series arrangement. For instance, I'm reading this out. All the appliances that we use have voltage rating of 220 volt in the country, exactly. So each appliance needs to be connected to 220 volt for its supply. So guys, parallel arrangement, each appliance works independently. For instance, if I have a fan, okay, I don't really know how to draw a fan, but this is a fan, and I have a bulb, right, and I have another cooler in my room. Now I want all of them to work separately, so I'll have a parallel arrangement in them. For instance, if you had a series arrangement, then if the light went or if the fuse blew up, then all the three appliances would not be working. But if you have them in parallel with different fuses for each, then if one appliance goes off, the other two don't stop working. So that's the main advantage of parallel arrangement. Another thing, in parallel arrangement you have equal voltage distributed among all the appliances, but in the series it's in the ratio of the resistances that the voltage gets distributed, so they actually do not operate at the rated voltage. So that's the basic difference. And guys, that's about it in parallel and series and household circuits. um, I will be doing fuses and their functions, and then later on whatever is there in the chapter in the next tutorial. Keep watching.